second invoke of the same line. The parameter n is now 0 because n equals to 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. Are we doing okay so far with this? Okay. Once we have set up column G and column H, we can now continue execution in the subroutine that we're invoking, which is subroutine F. We start with line 3 again. Line 3 is n equals to 0, but this time it is true. We then go to line 4. Line 4 is return 0. Once again, don't let the return info cell having a return confuse you, because I don't care what it has. I'm just going to copy and paste it. The only thing I'm going to do is to change the question mark with whatever I'm returning on line 4. Line 4 is just returning a constant of 0, and that's all I'm going to do. Line 4. Yes. Line 4 is returning a 0. It's a constant. There's nothing else to compute.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Yep.
Okay, so return 0 was actually like return 5, that's equal to 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Whatever you're returning, you use that to replace the question mark.
Alright, I got confused because you have like n equals 0 and then return 0 also, so I got that bit confused. Doesn't make sense.
Oh.
Yeah, like I thought they were related, so but I was just wondering, that's why I asked you.
That has to do with the definition of the Fibonacci series of numbers. Because by definition, the Fibonacci number of 0 is 0, and the Fibonacci number of 1 is 1. So those two are by definition. There's no need to calculate anymore, because by definition, they have those specific values.
So when you have a return statement, you're copying and pasting the
Return info cell.
return info cell with the new information without the question mark with the new information.
Instead of you replace the question mark with whatever the return statement is returning. But you don't execute whatever the return info cell has, not at this point. Okay, that comes later. What do we do after line 4? After line 4, we get out of the conditional statement. We get to the end of the subroutine on line 10. At the end of a subroutine, we always do the same thing. We basically deallocate both of these columns, so they're now all gone. And we now continue execution on line 8. What is 1 plus 0?
1.
That's just 1, right? Okay, well, looks like we know what we are supposed to do when we are back to line 8. We are going to return 1. What do I do when I return 1? I copy and paste the return info cell, change the question mark to a 1. Okay? Because you got to remember the basic mechanism. I look at the return info cell, I copy and paste it here, and this time I do know what I'm returning because I'm returning 1, and as a result, the question mark becomes a 1. Is that okay? What I just did is the result of executing this part here. Now this part can be confusing because I am executing line 8 in order to specify the return info cell, which is also line 8. But remember what I said? Don't get bothered by whatever the return info cell has. It can have gibberish for all I care, but as long as I can find the question mark and replace the question mark with whatever I'm returning, I'm done. Okay? This is what I'm executing. The cell G20 is the statement I'm executing. The cell E22 is the end result of executing that statement. Okay? Are we doing okay? Yep, go ahead.
I don't understand why, after you return 1, why does it still have to invoke f n minus 2 and dash n? Why didn't you just return 1 over that?
Because I just copied and pasted. That's because I just do it dumbly. I just copy and paste. Whatever you had before, paste it here, replace the value of the question mark with a 1, and I'm done. I'm not taking care of invoke f n minus 2 at this point. Okay. So the mechanism is very important because mentally I know, if you once you resolve this, you can say, oh, now that we know f of 1 is 1, we can know the other f of 1 is 1 too. But that's not what the algorithm or what the program is going to do. The program will execute using the mechanism that we have talked about. It is important for us to follow the mechanism and not to do it smartly, because the computer does not do it smartly like we do. Yep. Question?
Oh yeah, you don't invoke Fibonacci and minus 2. Shouldn't that turn 0? Because on the top, that's commandment you said return its question mark, so wouldn't it be 1? And then you went down to return 1, so that means that should be 0, right?
Yep.
And then you didn't do it.
I still have to do it though.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. I was like,
Because at this point, this is not resolved. It is still an invoked statement. At this point, this add here cannot happen yet, because I only know what is on the left-hand side. I don't know what is on the right-hand side of that. So that means that the next thing we have to do is to invoke f with n minus 2 to specify n. Okay. Well, we have about 20 seconds left, so I'll go ahead and stop it at this point. Now, I encourage every single one in the class to finish the trace. Okay, it is already started. It is almost done. Okay, we are pretty close to the end. We have gotten through the most confusing part already. So, if as an exercise, it is not going to be graded. As an exercise, I think you should go ahead and finish the trace. By Thursday, we'll come back and I will finish the trace in the class as well. Okay, this is one good way to check to see if you fully understand the mechanism of returning values. Yep.
On line 23, is the invoke resolved there, or now I'm going to do invoke Fibonacci and minus 2? Is that going to start again?
Well, let's go ahead and do it on Thursday, because we are running out of time at this point. Because after line 8, where do we have to go? After line 8, we have to go to line 10. I am not executing this statement at this point. I am going to go to line 10 next, reallocate these two columns back to the previous context. So by the time I invoke f of n minus 2 again, that n has a value of 3. So it becomes 3 minus 2. So the next invocation will actually be trying to find a Fibonacci of 1 and not 0. Okay, because you have to remember, in which context am I going to execute this line A? It is not in this context. I'm not using column F as n. I'm actually using column D as F, as n. Okay? So go ahead and finish this trace, before Thursday. I'm not going to grade it, so you don't have to worry if you cannot do it, but it will be a good exercise for this class. Let me just finish this. And upload everything today. Yep. Oh, the row sheet? It's right here. You have the pen?
Oh, yeah, my girl was at the same thing. I was just looking at. She's got a little. She got a sense.
Are you doing a worksheet too?
I
I
can
picked this up from Office Depot.
It's nice. It's heck of a big.